Hey everyone, welcome to another class in English language brought to you by O3 School's JAMB app. O3 School's JAMB app is an app designed to help students ace their JAMB examination easily. So today we're going to be looking at adverbs. Generally, we define adverbs as words or phrases that tell us more about verbs. Is a word or a phrase that tells us more about verbs. Generally, a common definition, adverb tells us more, or they modify verbs, but they can also modify adjectives. They can also modify adjectives, modify adjectives, other adverbs, even sentences. Adverbs help to paint a fuller picture, helps to explain further about what's going on in a sentence or about an action. So, for example, we can have he walked gently. Here, gently is an adverb modifying the verb walked. How did he walk? Gently. Then we can now have he walked very slowly. Very is an adverb, slowly is also an adverb. So very is doing the work of modifying this adverb. Adverbs can tell us more about verbs, can tell us more about adverbs, it can tell us more about adjectives. Tade is really hungry. Hungry is an adjective, really is an adverb. Really is telling us more about this adjective. Then for sentences, we can have luckily we arrived in time. Luckily here is an adverb telling us more about the sentence. So in this case, luckily is modifying the entire sentence. Now most adverbs end in ly, mostly formed by adding that ly to an adjective to form an adverb. So you can have beautiful as an adverb, as an adjective, for example, beautiful adjective. The corresponding adverb becomes beautifully. But not all adverbs are formed this way. Some adjectives remain the same even when they are being used as adverbs or even when they become adverbs. Such we call them flat adverbs. A good example is fast, straight. Fast is an adjective, it is also an adverb. So now one way we can differentiate between adverbs and adjectives is what that word is modifying in the sentence. Now, adjectives modify nouns and pronouns. Adverbs modify anything else. Adverbs do not modify nouns and pronouns. So by the time you have sentences and you cannot tell, or let's say you are confused about what that word is, you don't know if it falls under adjectives or it falls under adverbs. A good way to differentiate it is by looking at what the word is modifying in the sentence. So let's use fast as an example. If you say he drives fast, and then you say it is a fast car. Here, fast is modifying the verb drives, so it is an adverb. But in this second sentence, it is modifying the noun car, so it becomes an adjective here. In as much as adverbs can take any position in the sentence, especially if they are modifying verbs, you can put them before, you can put them after, you can put them at the end of the sentence. It is always advisable for you to use adverbs as close as possible to what it is modifying. So as close as you can put it, let's ensure that we put it that way so we don't cause problems or misunderstandings. So while they can stay anywhere in sentences, let's try and use it close as possible to whatever it is modifying in sentences. Then I said adverbs can also be phrases. For example, we ran across the street. You have across the street, a phrase acting as an adverb in that sentence, telling you more about what the action running taking place in the sentence. So that's adverbs. I want to quickly look at the types of adverbs. Types of adverbs. Types of adverbs. We have one, adverb of manner. So the word manner. Adverbs of manner, adverbs that tells you about how an action is carried out. They explain the way in which the action is carried out or performed. So you can have slowly, carefully, accurately, words like that, correctly, quickly. These adverbs tells you about how the action was carried out or performed. These adverbs are adverbs of manner. Then we also have adverbs of place. Tells you where an action is carried out, or it provides information about the location of an action. These adverbs of place. So example, we now have around, inside, upstairs, north, here, there. These adverbs provide more about the location of an action, tells you where this action is performed. It could indicate distance or direction as long as it's still about the location of the action. We classify them under adverbs of place. They will also have adverbs of time. This one tells us about when, the when of actions. Adverbs of time help to give us more information about when an action occurs. So it deals with time from the way, from the name of the type of adverb. So examples we have yesterday, last year, every day, later, now, then, ago, today. These are examples of adverbs that tells us more about when an action was performed. They are adverbs of time. Then we look at adverbs of frequency. How frequent an action occurs. Adverbs of frequency tells us more about the amount of time, or let's say the number of times an action takes place or occurs. Adverbs of frequency. Example, we have frequently, occasionally, never, normally, usually, seldom, like that. These are examples of adverbs that tells us more about the frequency of an action, how often an action takes place. These adverbs are adverbs of frequency. Then we also have adverbs of reason. Adverbs of reason, sometimes called adverbs of purpose, tells us why an action occurs or why an action happened. So examples we have so, because, in order to, since. These are adverbs of reason telling us why an action took place or occurred. Lastly, we have adverbs of degree. These adverbs have to do with to what extent an action occurs. Describe the extent to which an action occurs or takes place. Adverbs of degree. So examples we have extremely, utterly, slightly, quite, very, almost, highly, much, a great deal, too, remarkably. So these are some examples of adverbs of degree, which tells us more about the extent to which an action occurs. These are some types of adverbs: adverbs of manner, adverbs of place, adverbs of time, adverbs of frequency, adverbs of reason, adverbs of degree. We're going to see how these adverbs come in sentences. But before then, adverbs like adjectives also have degrees. You have the positive, comparative, and superlative. Though it is not as used the way we use it in adjectives, but let's know that they exist also in adverbs. We also have degree of adverbs. Degree of adverbs. The same way we use the positive for one, comparative for two, and then superlative for three and above. That's the same thing for adverbs. Most adverbs, positive, comparative, superlative. So adverbs also have this, although like I said, it is not often used for adverbs as much as it is used in adjectives, and we use them the same way. We also form the comparative and superlative same way, adding more most where we need to. For example, you can have early, earlier, earliest. Same thing, you add er and est, and for those that do not take er and est, you can add more and most for the comparative and superlative. So examples we have soon, sooner, soonest. Then what we have more most beautifully, more beautifully, most beautifully, carefully, more carefully, most carefully. Let's see one more: warmly, more warmly, most warmly. So we can also have degrees of adverbs. You have warmly, more warmly, most warmly. You also have others happily, greedily, slowly, like that, like that. These are the ways we form the comparative and the superlative. So let's quickly look at the order of adverbs. How do adverbs appear in sentences? Or how are they supposed to appear? Have we been using it right this whole time, or we need to learn something today? So we'll look at it. Order of adverbs. First of, we have one, indefinite adverbs of frequency. Of frequency should come before the main verb. Remember, adverbs of frequency tells us how often an action occurs. So those that are not specific, always, never, they are not specific about, they don't give us an actual number or amount. So they should come before the main verb. For example, she never does her assignments. This isn't definite. It's an indefinite adverb of frequency. So it's coming before the main verb. Or they always go to church. Always too, not definite. Coming before the main verb in sentences. I normally take the bus. So we now have definite adverbs of frequency. Should come at the end of the sentence. Definite adverbs of frequency, the ones that are specific. So, for example, we come here yearly. Definite adverb. Yearly means once a year. So, we come here yearly. It's a definite adverb of frequency, so it should be used at the end of the sentence. They get paid monthly. Indefinite adverbs of frequency should come before the main verb, while definite adverbs of frequency should come at the end of the sentence. Then we also have that indefinite adverbs of frequency should come after verbs to be. Of frequency should come after verbs to be. Verbs to be, those are is, was, were, are, those are verbs to be or to be verbs. So we should use indefinite adverbs of frequency after them. So for example, he is hardly at home. Is a verb to be. Hardly is an indefinite adverb of frequency. So we use hardly after the to be verb there. Also, we have that when there are many adverbs of time in one sentence, when there are many adverbs of time in one sentence, the lower time should come first. So you arrange them in that order. So from small to big. When you have more than one adverbs of time, the lower one. So let's use a sentence to illustrate. I saw my friend in the market at 4 p.m. This is a sentence where we have more than one adverbs of time. We have at 4 p.m. very specific. Then you have in the evening. Evening covers 4 p.m. So you want to arrange them, ensure that the lower time comes before the higher one. Even if they are three, still ensure that you arrange them from small to big. Evening covers 4 p.m. So you have 4 p.m. coming first. I saw my friend in the market at 4 p.m. this evening. Then generally, adverbs should take this order in sentences. In this order. First, you have degree. Next, you have manner. Next, you have place, frequency, time, and purpose. So if you have to arrange adverbs in sentences, you should follow this order. Adverbs of degree first, adverbs of manner, adverbs of place, adverbs of frequency, time, and purpose. These are the way we should arrange adverbs in sentences. This is the correct order. So we have looked at adverbs, defined adverbs, given examples, and showed how adverbs modify other adverbs in sentences, modify verbs, modify adjectives in sentences. And then we looked at the types of adverbs. We also looked at the degree of adverbs. And now we have looked at the order of adverbs. Let's quickly answer some questions, past questions on adverbs. These questions were pulled from the O3 Schools JAMB app, so do well to go back and answer more when you're done with this video. Questions. We have one. She ran dash, but she could not catch up with Bosse. Options. We have very fastly, B so fastly, C very fast, D fastly. This is easy. Why? Because we do not have fastly. So because she ran very fast but could not catch up with Bosse. All these other options have fastly in them. We do not have fastly, so that makes the other options wrong. Number 2 says the fruit was dash ripe enough to eat. A hardly, B too, C very, D as. So the fruit was ripe enough to eat. Because the fruit was hardly ripe enough to eat. That means it wasn't ripe to what to eat. You cannot have too ripe enough or very ripe enough as ripe enough. The correct answer there becomes hardly ripe enough to eat. We have the man dash A died last month only. B last month only died. C died only last month. And D died last only month. So looking at these options, we have the verb. The verb has to come first, which is died. And then we have last month and only. Last month is an adverb of time. Only here is an adverb of degree. So adverb of degree comes first before adverb of time. That leaves us with the man died only last month. The verb coming first, adverb of degree coming next, and then adverb of time. Another question we have, we dash notice his presence at all. A always, B often, C rarely, D sometimes. We dash notice his presence at all. At all there is telling you that what they do not, they hardly ever notice his presence. So the answer becomes what? Rarely. We rarely notice his presence at all. Because of the presence of at all, if there was no at all, it becomes we always notice his presence, or we sometimes notice, or we often notice his presence. But because of the presence of at all here, we know that they are trying to say they do not notice his presence. So rarely becomes the most suitable answer to that question. Number 5, we have the event took place dash. A go very long indeed. B indeed a go very long. C a go indeed very long. And D very long ago indeed. So here we have the event took place dash. Ago very long indeed. Indeed ago very long. Ago indeed very long. Very long ago indeed. We have very long ago indeed. Very adverb of degree. Long ago adverb of time. And indeed, indeed is a sentence adverb. They either come at the beginning or they come at the end. So here this is the correct arrangement we should use. Thank you very much for watching. Do well to go to Play Store, download the app and practice with more questions so you can be fully prepared for your JAMB examination.